Within this section, we're going to take a look at how to go about manipulating the appearance of a button. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a function button up on the screen. And within this, I'll just assign it. We'll say, for example, we'll make it a payment, and we'll make it cash, for example. So now I have a cash button up on the screen. Now, taking a look at it, you have a couple of things here. First of all, the name of the button itself is cash, and so whatever description was programmed into that, it shows up on there. And along with this as well, the associated image, which is also within, in this particular case, the setup for the method of payment. Now what we're going to do here is just kind of play around with how it looks and appears on the system. Now the first place we want to look is within button layout. You'll take a look at this, and we have some images or some selections here that we can choose from in terms of above, below, center, and so on like this. And this is where you determine the positioning of the image with respect to the text. So for example, if I placed it below, then you'll notice now I've got the cache image below, or if I place it to the left, then there's the picture of the money that is just to the left of the cache title. So you can really position these around in all different locations. Another thing I can play around with as well is color. Coming down to color, right now I'm defaulting to the button face, which is just the default setting for this. But on it, for example, I can go and I can change it to a different color just by going through the color grid on that. And so now I've changed it from a clear button to a yellow button, or any other color you may wish. Another possibility you can play around with is bevel width. Now a bevel is basically the edge around the button, and you can actually give it more of a 3D look by just kind of enhancing on this. So you'll see right now I've got it set to a bevel of 2, and I can actually knock that up, let's say, to a bevel of 8. And by doing that, it now gives it a much more determined appearance. It just stands out a lot more than it did before. And I can really escalate that up considerably, if I want, and give it much bigger beveled edges and so on. Another thing that we can also toy with is caption. Now you'll notice right now it defaults to the description that came across with that particular function, being cash, but I can change this, for example, to the word money. And by doing that, I now have that changed around to a completely different wording, so I can get very specific with that. But you also notice that upon putting in the word money, it's a little bit small, so I can come down to where it says font. And just expanding on font, you'll see, for example, I can choose in terms of the size and the font and so on to select on that. And right now I'm set at a font of 8, and I'll change that maybe up to that of 16. And so now it's a much larger font that's available to you. We can also come down to a setting down below that says push. Now on this, right now it shows a push of 2. So if I was to just take a look at this and push on that button, that is a push level of 2. But if I wanted to enhance on that, I can always change that up maybe to something like a 10, for example. And in doing that now, you'll notice how it changes a little bit more when I select on that button. So you can adjust the graphics and so on like that, not only in terms of its basic appearance, but also in terms of when it is actually selected, because you'll have, for example, things like image normal, image down. Down being when it is pressed down. Is there a different image you might want for that, or a different color, for example? You can change all of that around. Also down below we have show caption, and with this, if I was to change it from a true to a false, you'll see that the caption, being the contents of the caption field up above, and which I've renamed to money, will then appear or not appear. So you can change all kinds of things of that nature. And also coming down, we have text options. Within text options, there's all different types of selections you can choose from with this as well. So for example, in this, if I come down to where it says text style, and I can change this maybe to like a shadow, and taking a look at money, the money text is now shadowed. So there's lots of different variations that you can work with on the system. My recommendation is just play around with these and take a look and see what different things you can do with any one of these buttons. In some cases you will notice them right away. In some cases you might have to run it to actually take a look and see what the button will look like at the front end.